Good morning, friends. This is my first recorded audio and visual, either or and both, for the Substack, Anansi's Web, nancywilson.substack.com. And I am happy to read to you a piece that is one of my favorite pieces of poetic prose. I wrote this piece, a love letter to my fellow empaths, or how to survive the morning, when I was in law school, my first year of law school, as part of my book, Godless, Circumcisions, remembering and recollecting on of blackness, queerness, and flows of survivance. And I was having a horrible time in law school. And as some of you remember, I began law school in 2014, so it was only a few years after the murder of Trayvon Martin and Jordan Davis and Troy Davis and so many others. And also after, the Occupy Boston movement had started and I was involved with that. And then people of color decolonized Occupy Boston and Occupy the Hood. All of those moments. And I'd come to law school after teaching high school in Miami. And having to leave and having to stop. And I should be clear that the reason that I went and did that was because I wanted to provide the opportunity for students to have an experience, an education, to have the teacher, to have a black teacher, to have a black queer teacher, to have a black teacher, a black queer teacher that was aware and fully grounded in the power of our history, in the reality of our present, and in the possibilities of our futures. So I never set out to be a permanent high school teacher, but I did go to be a disruptor, to disrupt, right, the miseducation of black folks, of people of color, of poor people across race, and of queer people and women in general, my goodness. So anyway, I wrote this piece, a love letter to my fellow empaths, because I was feeling disillusioned with the world, was feeling disillusioned with Howard University School of Law. I wanted to do civil rights. I wanted to learn about the ways in which anti-blackness and slavery had affected and infected the Constitution, and the ways in which law orders and disorders the way black people live and die. And I found I was not able to find that in the curriculum, and it's no fault of Howard's. It's just the way the law school is set up, not the law school, the law school system is set up by the American Bar Association and their strict curricular management and oversight, particularly of HBCUs. Check that. And also, it would be remiss of me not to note, well, that's my poodle Asante. He loves to be in the mix. But it would be remiss of me not to note the influence and importance of three people while I was feeling just disillusioned, right, with my choices and where I was, and with the reality of legal study was, and with the reality of the world was. And I want to thank Imani Perry, who has been an amazing mentor and has always encouraged me to continue to write, to continue to think, and to do so beautifully with care, with rigor, and with concern for, as we say, the way that law has a life outside of the courtroom, a life of disassembling black and black queer life. And of course, I would also like to mention my good mentor, my soul sister as well, Christina Sharp, who, upon hearing of my intellectual and emotional struggles in this moment, sent me a text, a book, by her partner, another wonderful spirit, friend, mentor, mother of the craft, Dion Brand, her book Bread Out of Stone. And each of those, that text, those interventions, those interactions, were really the fulcrum that allowed me to write that book and to write this essay, and then also to go on to do my dissertation. So I'm thankful for the work and for the friendship and the mentorship of Christina Sharp, of Dion Brand, of Imani Perry, and also Saru, my good sister down at Tulane Law School, and Anthony Farley as well. So thank you all. Thank you all. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned them before we get too deep into the text and the reading. We must always give honor to those that have fed us. By doing so, we honor our ancestors, we honor ourselves, we honor them, and we give blessings and sustenance to ourselves and the children that come next. But anyway, I wrote this piece when I was studying abroad in South Africa, and I was being rejuvenated there. So bear with me as I begin to read this, and I apologize for the long introduction. And I have to say, I will have more readings from this book. I will also have more audio and visual readings going forward, but many of those would be for paid subscribers, because as y'all know, I'm teaching law right now. I'm trying to write a book. I am writing these essays. I I'm also trying to start a new firm that will focus on mediation and interventions and speaking and organizing and also relaunching, well, I should say, putting the Center for the Study of Black Life and the Law on firmer footing. So I welcome your support in doing all of that. Anyway, this is a love letter to my fellow empaths. It reads, for some time, I've been struggling to get back to my craft. That is, I've been struggling to creatively and bluntly get to the heart of the matter of my heart and those around me. Whether through poem or prose, there has been a disconnect. For some time, I've been struggling to get back to my craft. That is, I've been struggling to creatively and bluntly get to the heart of the matter of my heart and those around me. Whether through poem or prose, there has been a disconnect. This disconnect is not intellectual or even creative. Put simply, it's a matter of energy and invasion and a lax practice of homemaking, soul protecting and loving me, loving us. Dear empath, this is why I am writing to you. I know you hate boundaries and artificial borders around the soul and heart, but you need them. You need walls and doors that lock. You need walls. There must be a protective structure around your inner sanctum, the birthplace and threshing floor of your magic, your love, your knowing, your ability to see and touch the great beyond, the space beyond speaking and acting must be protected. It must be shielded. It must be shielded in all its messiness from the foreign foolishness of those calling you love. For the moment, consider your ability to feel beyond it. This power, this magic is the honey of the earth. Many have come and existed before you to create the conditions for your gift to flourish. Ancestors and forebearers, your you has been forged with the ruptures and unions of broken hearts, burning truths, and the ever-killing practice of surviving for tomorrow. Your gift is not only yours, it is ours, and the world, the universe, needs you thriving. Create doors. This is not a prison. We're not called to lock ourselves away in a priestly penitentiary. This would be a martyrdom marked by euthanasia. Hate, pain. This is not what we do. Create doors. Doors with locks and keys that respond to you and only you. Not simply or only because of the loud and cunning and true and desperate and haunting needs of those around you. People will need your love. But you need not let them in your home to love them. They may not be yours to love. Recall that love is a practice, not simply a feeling. Love is an ethic. Love is critical. Therefore, when we speak of this thing others call love, what we, as empaths, are speaking of is a politic, what I call a critical love ethic, that calls us to do more than feel, but to consider and change how we act. Feel, move, love, fuck, and think. We examine the worlds around us and move and bend and mold and break them to encompass the more perfect love practices we deem necessary and liberatory for self and recipient and all those with beating hearts. You see, that is an empath's love. It is not feeling simply. It is not doing only. It is a knowing that feeling and doing must be accompanied by thinking about how love is making and reshaping and breaking the self that came before now, and how such love is wrapped and warped by the worlds and ways and traditions we once saw as necessary and natural and or godly. It is knowing that love is not only the practice of justice and freedom, the script of life and how we address those who remind us of what it is to feel immortal, but also the borderlines for what is permissible and possible for those who are now here, who are here now, and those who come on tomorrow. This is why you need doors. Doors that can be shut when danger arises or when it is unclear who is sitting in the curtilage of your dwelling place. You need doors, empath, Because if you do not have doors, many will come in and devour the most important realm of your cosmos. Some people will gain entry. Some will stay for a while. Others will leave in the still of the night, taking your light for the morning. Let them go. Do not chase them. They are not yours. Even when you welcome them, even when they promise, even when they need you, even when you want or need or desire them, even when you introduce them to the best of them, they are not yours. What can a broken flower offer in the garden? What can a broken flower offer the garden of your heart, but more work and a coming death? You are not a prison, but a paradise. Yes, they have taken from your garden, perhaps taken gifts, perhaps stolen treasures. It will hurt all the same. A reminder of what has left or been taken, but also what remains. You, my dear empath, you are regenerative and still yet a genealogy remaining. You are generative and still and yet a genealogy of remaining. You are a cosmos. You will refresh. You have just fed the world again. Take joy that you can do so, but remember that you are not without limits. This is why you need walls and doors, doors with locks, dear empath. Doors and walls, doors that lock with walls that warn and welcome, as Solange says. Don't let nobody steal your magic. And I ain't talking about that Jesse Williams shit. I'm talking about the magic that comes from ancestors with names your tongue cannot erect, but your soul can never, ever, ever forget. You are a cosmos, but no meteorites need land here. Sigh, a universe healing their whole. If you're feeling this, share the word, and I hope you become a paid subscriber. Peace and blessings to you all, and may the ancestors continue to live through us. I said in recording.